All right, so today we're going to break down something called the PPF Framework. It's this really powerful system for organizing your life and your goals, and it's all designed with one clear purpose: to give you an actual, actionable plan to seriously multiply your income. But before we dive into the nitty-gritty of how it works, we've got to tackle a huge question. Seriously, this is a question that trips up so many people when they're just starting their journey to financial freedom. And here it is, it's that classic chicken and egg problem, isn't it? We hear all the time, make your money work for you. But what do you do when you don't really have any money to put to work yet? This is the exact puzzle this framework is built to solve. So what's the secret? Well, it actually comes down to avoiding a super common and honestly a very costly mistake that a lot of us are taught to make right from the get-go. Okay, so check this out. We're always hearing about the magic of passive income, right? Making money while you sleep. But here's the big twist. Jumping straight to that is actually a mistake. The real key, especially when you're starting out, is to get laser focused on building valuable skills that generate active revenue first. I want you to really let this sink in, because this quote, it's the foundation for everything we're talking about. Before you have the capital to invest for those passive returns, your single greatest asset is your brain, your ability to learn and earn. You've got to build the engine before you can enjoy the ride, you know? And this is exactly why it works. Think about it. Your skills are literally the engine that drives your income. The better the skills, the bigger the engine, the more you can earn. And that money you're earning, that's the fuel. It's the fuel you're going to pour into investments later on to create that passive income. It's a sequence, and getting that order right, man, it's everything. Okay, so how do you actually put this idea into practice? How do you organize your life around it? That's where the PPF framework comes in. Seriously, think of it like a personal operating system for your ambition. You know, what I love about this is how simple it is. The PPF just stands for personal, professional, and financial, the three big buckets of your life. The whole point of the framework is to get you setting goals in all three areas, but structured over different timelines so you always know exactly what your next step is. So, like I said, it's all built on these three pillars. You've got personal, which is everything from your health and relationships to your hobbies, the stuff that makes life worth living. Then there's professional, which is all about your career, your business, and most importantly, that skill acquisition we talked about. And finally, financial. This is where you track the numbers, income, savings, and eventually investments. And the critical thing to remember is they're all connected. You can't let one slide without it affecting the other. And this is where the magic really happens. You see how it all comes together in this grid? You take each of those three pillars, personal, professional, and financial, and you map them across three different time horizons. Your 5-year goal, that's your North Star, your big picture vision. The 3-year goals are the major milestones you have to hit to get there. And the 1-year goals, those are the specific, concrete actions you need to be taking, like right now, this year. All right, so this all sounds great in theory, right? But how do you actually use it? Let's break down how to turn this from a cool idea into a real practical roadmap for your next 5 years. It's actually a pretty simple 3-step process, but here's the secret sauce. You have to work backwards. Don't start with what you're doing tomorrow, no. You start by defining your 5-year vision. Dream big. Where do you really want to be personally, professionally, and financially? Once that's crystal clear, then you work backward to figure out the 3-year milestones and then the 1-year actions. This whole process guarantees that what you're doing day to day is actually pushing you toward that big vision. Honestly, this is the perfect way to think about it. You would never, ever build a house without a blueprint, would you? So why on earth would you try to build your life, your wealth, your career, your happiness without a plan? This framework, this is your blueprint. It gives your ambition a structure to build on. So there it is, a really clear, powerful system to get you focused on what actually matters for building wealth. The plan is on the table, the blueprint is right here in your hands. So the only real question left is, what's the very first step you're going to take tomorrow to start building?